DSLRs are beautiful cameras, and most of your professionals now that are doing corporate videos, even TV commercials, will shoot on very complex DSLRs, and they'll tie other bits of kit into them. We tie on radio mics and all sorts of different lenses and grips, but DSLRs are stunning because we can put different lenses on them, so we get that aesthetic quality that you get from that you have in photos, but we now have that in video. So DSLRs, you'll be able to distinguish by the fact that the lens comes off, okay? So you can swap it, you might choose macro lenses, you might choose zoom lenses, but once you start moving into this territory, financially, you are going to have to start putting in a bit more budget. So this is one of the lowest end DSLRs as far as simplicity, because there is an element of you need to be able to use it. So if you go and you spend fortunes buying the latest DSLR, the most expensive camera you can find, it's going to take you a while to learn how to use it. Okay, professionals literally spend hours a day working with their cameras, so they know the cameras inside out, they know all the settings, the manual settings. They're not just putting it on auto and shooting, which there's a good chance that that's what you're going to be doing. Okay, so this is, like I said, the lower end. You're probably talking £300 or £400 for something like this. But again, this would be a really nice starter as a DSLR. The lower end DSLR like this is really good because you've got manual settings, so you've got lots of options for your aperture, for your shutter speed, for white balance, for ISO. You've got the screen on the back. Okay, so you can watch the content whilst you're filming it, and people can look over your shoulder and make sure that they're happy with what they're filming. Again, on the bottom, these have batteries that come with their own charger, so you don't have to worry about rechargeable batteries. And then again, we're filming on SD cards, and your SD card just pops in there. Okay, so you just press it, pop it out, and that one's got a 64 gig SD card in. Just pop that in, and that's what you're recording all your content onto. Moving up, DSLRs will become very costly, so you're moving into the £1,000, the £2,000, you're moving into lenses that may cost you £400 or £500. Beautiful, but you do really need the expertise and the knowledge of how to operate them. Otherwise, you will just find that you're stuck on automatic settings, and you'll not get anywhere near what the camera is capable of if you're just going to sit on auto settings. But what is nice is they feel much heavier, there's much more to them, the sensors are bigger, so they absorb lots of light, and you get really nice depth of field more than anything, I always feel. So you can keep something in the foreground really crisp, as I am now, and then you can get your background and drop that out of focus, which is lovely, particularly if you maybe work in quite a busy environment or it's a little bit messy. You can drop it out of focus so that people can see you're in an office but they can't see the details of it. Or if you are filming people in the background and you haven't got permissions, drop them out of focus so that they aren't recognisable. So that works really well. But the quality that you get from a DSLR is really, really lovely. Again, it's just going to be a little bit more budget, and you do have to start thinking about sound recording, because they aren't the best sound recorders. The bridge camera is really lovely. It's got a screen on the back so you can see what it is that you're filming. It's very simple to use. And what you'll find with your bridge cameras is they use batteries. So rather than you charging a block up, they use rechargeable batteries. So whatever you do, if you're going to use batteries in any filming equipment, make sure they're rechargeable, because if you put normal batteries in, they're going to last about a minute and then they're going to run out. So rechargeable batteries, and then we pop an SD card in. So this one's got a 16 gigabyte SD card, which is plenty for small pieces of video. I would advise moving into your 64 gig SD cards really if you're going to do quite a lot of filming, because that's going to give you plenty of content. This is the Canon Legria. Like I said, it's got a nice screen so that you can flip it all the way around and you can film yourself while you're recording. The microphone is really decent on them, to be honest, so if you're not going to be able to work with a separate audio file, it might be worth using any camcorders and things that you've got. So it's nothing big, nothing bulky, but as long as it films in HD, that's all you're looking for at this stage. You're not trying to make professional pieces, professional TV pieces. You just want it to be clear and simple for you to use. Whilst filming with phones, please make sure that you are filming this way, not this way. Okay? You need to film this way. The way that you watch television is that way, your laptop screens are that way, because if not, filming that way might be okay directly for pieces like Facebook and things, but if you use the video anywhere else, you're going to get black lines at the side, so thick black bars, and then your content's just going to go through the middle. So just make sure you're filming that way. Now we've had a chat about cameras, it is really, really important that you aren't holding a camera whilst filming, because it really will never be that smooth. When we film something that looks like it's handheld, it's often on a shoulder rig or it's on a Steadicam. It is held by a piece of equipment that means it's kind of weighted, so any movements are really smooth. Walking around with a camera or a phone is not going to give you professional results. So what I would suggest is get yourself a really, really basic tripod and just always make sure that it's sat on a tripod and you aren't trying to move it around whilst filming. So keep it really simple, and again, put all the kind of creative stuff into the content of what's being filmed rather than how you're filming it. So obviously the tripods that we use are much more sophisticated, and they have what we call a fluid head, which means they're really smooth and they're quite heavy because we don't want wind and things to blow them over while we're out and about. So what I'm thinking for you is, if you go with something really lightweight, and again we're going as low budget as possible, this brand is brilliant. So Manfrotto is a brilliant brand of tripod. This one is about £45. It's not something that we would use as professionals, if I'm completely honest, but it's perfect for beginners. It's perfect for low budget. These tripods are really sturdy. They are very simple to use, and you know that it's going to withstand being hauled about, being put up and down on a regular basis, and it's head height. It means that it's going to stay nice and sturdy whilst you're filming, and then you can just move it around. So you can turn it to where you want it to be, you can lock it in position, and you know that once you're set, then you're going to get a really nice, clear, sturdy shot, and it's going to be stabilised rather than wobbling up and down and people feeling like they're on a boat. Okay? So the top of the tripod comes off, so it's normally a plate of some sort. With this one, it's a small piece that comes off, so we just screw that into the bottom of your camera and then take the whole camera and sit it on top. Whatever you do, please don't get cameras and try to screw them onto the top of tripods, because all that happens is the screw gets knotted and you either end up breaking the tripod or breaking the camera. Okay, so take it off, attach that onto the camera itself, screw it onto the camera, and then place the whole thing back onto the tripod and lock it into place. And then obviously you can turn it around and you're happy with it. Now if you're using mobile phones, you will need something that holds the mobile, and that's what this is for. So we've got a holder for a mobile phone, and this again just sits on the top of the tripod. So if I take my phone, I can sit it in there. These are about £5 off the internet. Okay. So we can tie that in, and that holds onto my phone. And again, we're making sure that we're filming this way. We can move it around so it goes that way, but we don't want to film that way because we'll get the black bars at the side. So we can put it on there, be really happy with it. Then you can get your tripod, and obviously you're probably going to have it standing. So I'm taking the bottom of the tripod out, screwing it onto the bottom of the phone holder. Okay, sit that whole thing back onto the tripod, and now you can film on your phone and it be nice and sturdy. So you've got the hole on the bottom for it to screw into a tripod. They're a universal fitting, so a tripod screw will always be the same size as the hole on the bottom of your camera.